And in this video, we are going to be talking about retiring your character. Now, as some of you may know, Andy of the Orcs Planet that played Rauur, that you can see behind me in the picture, has retired his character. So we're going to be talking in this video about retiring, how he got to where he got to make those decisions to retire his character. So please enjoy. So, as you would... That was an awesome intro. So, as you would have seen from my little talk I just did a second ago, Andy, you have just retired Rauur. Well, it was a couple of days ago.
I actually haven't pressed the button yet. But I publicly retired.
You publicly retired. So, in this video, as I've said in the beginning, we're going to talk about how you got to that stage of retiring your character, because, you know, you get a lot of people who either... like me, who go, no, I'm going to die on a battlefield as my character, or you have people who just don't. They just don't die. They're miracles. They live forever. But you've decided that you just want to see Rauur, not necessarily walk off into the sunset, but you want to see Rauur more of a, I think as James said it earlier, as a background character instead of a main character. I think it was.
Yeah. I suppose. I kind of imagine that Rauur just sort of walks out the door at White Lake and sort of accidentally falls off a cliff. No, I don't want to kill Rauur off.
Yeah.
Like behind the scenes, because I feel like it's a bit. I don't know. I feel like she deserves better. You know,
Okay.
I've played her for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I've gone. Oh, I won't throw her in the bin. I won't throw her in the bin.
Yeah.
Get in the bin. I didn't want her to die off.
So how? Because obviously, like I've seen, and we've had conversations over the last year about possibly getting to this point of retiring the character. But like we're making this video so other people can understand and kind of go along that journey with you. So where did it start? Where did you first get the idea of maybe retiring this character is actually the sensible thing for me to do?
Honestly, the first time I ever thought about retiring Rauur, I hadn't even been playing her a whole year.
Okay. Wow. Okay, you lasted long then, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did. And that was because like Matt's character died, and
yeah,
I still wanted to play with Matt, to be honest with you, but like.
Because you and Matt have always, so ever since I've kind of known you, you and Matt have always been, characters have always been somewhat intertwined.
Yeah, that's kind of fallen off, sort of.
With
time.
With time, yeah. But more so kind of like any LARP that you've gone to, or, you know, especially in the first one that I met you at, your characters had very been intertwined. You were either, you know, a couple, or you were family, or whatever have you. Yeah. You were very intertwined. But now it's kind of going in a different direction as well. What we're talking about later, we won't go too far, but that kind of. So you didn't want to play it from that, you know, from after a couple of events because Matt's character died, but you carried on.
So, like, are we going to go into the reasons about like why you should and shouldn't retire your character here? Because like, I didn't retire her then. Yeah. Because someone needed to keep the Ashbourne going. Okay. And I wound up playing as Ashbourne Rauur, like, basically on my own for quite a while, which is intense in a game that's so, like, built on teamwork and like, team play, basically.
So would you say, then, the only reason why you didn't retire, and what some people may feel as well, is that sense of obligation that they can't retire? Because you're kind of forced into keeping something alive. Well, and that was the reason why you didn't the first time around.
Well, actually, the reason that I didn't the first time around was because I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, I could do that. And then Matt D said to me, I suppose you're going to retire then. And I went, no.
So you did it purely out of spite. There wasn't no obligation. There was just like, no, I will not do it.
I was too stubborn.
Wow, okay.
I didn't want to be proved wrong or right.
Okay.
So I bore with it, And then like I started getting more members interested in the Ashbourne. Obviously we went to No Return and Flick come along.
Yep.
And me and Lawrence were playing for quite a while, like just us.
Yep.
And then other people joined and the Ashbourne started getting bigger and I suddenly had all this responsibility. Then Alex's character, right, gave me like an IC job to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of sort of held on playing Rauur because I had all these like responsibilities. And that's not to say that I didn't enjoy them, because I had never intended for Rauur to sort of become like a kind of, I don't want to say it, it feels really like,
no, say it, whatever you feel, because
it feels really like pompous to say a main character.
No, but it's not, because you know, with anything there's always, you know, people who are different kind of tiers as such, and it's not kind of if someone's good at roleplay or not.
Yeah.
It's just where you sit structurally. There's always going to be someone who's, you know, lower, there's someone who's going to be middle, and there's someone who's going to be in charge.
Yeah, you've explained this tier system
have.
to me before, and I've literally never thought of Rauur as anything other than the fucking bottom feeder.
Well, I won't ever publicly say my tier system, because I think it might ruffle some feathers and people may not like it. But so, you know, you've got all of this responsibility, so you're staying along with the Ashbourne. And then what happened there? Because, you know, suddenly it's then changed, isn't it?
Yeah. Then I sort of realised that I wanted a penis. Or rather,
okay.
Let's say I became more comfortable with the fact that I wanted a penis.
Okay.
Sorry, I spat on you.
You did. That's fine. So.
Yeah. So I came out as trans earlier this year, but like I've been sort of thinking about this for a very, very long time.
Okay.
And yeah, I kind of.
I don't know why you're smiling at me. You should be
I don't
smiling
know.
at them. I want a penis.
Gotta buy one on eBay.
Oh my god.
So yes, I've sort of forgotten what was the question.
So you'd had all the responsibility, and then you got to the point where I believe at the beginning of the year is where you came out as trans. And
so I kind of started playing masculine characters about quite a long time ago.
Yeah, I think is when I first moved in with you. You were I think you were just gearing up to play your first proper masculine character.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I thought it was before then. But
it may have been. I remember because you were obviously doing the mustache, and I thought to myself, why is it? What's in the mustache? You know, it was a bit weird, but at the same time, you know.
But
yeah,
like,
question why?
That like urge to sort of play a masculine character.
Yeah.
Like goes right back to like when I first started Green Cloaks.
Yeah.
Because like I had like this thought, I could play a male character, and it was like, that's a bit intriguing.
Yeah.
But then I didn't.
So would you?
It wasn't until I went to Hades that.
Yeah. So going a little bit more, not necessarily super deep, because that, you know, we're not here to discuss that side, but I think it's one of those things of, would you say now that you wouldn't play a female character because this is the way you feel, and even though you played one in the past, you don't feel comfortable to relive that anymore? You'd rather go this direction than possibly any other?
Yeah, I didn't. When I first came out, I didn't think that it was really gonna give me that much of a problem.
Okay.
But like, I kind of noticed a sort of growing. It takes me ages to kit up as Rauur. Like, it's ridiculous how long it takes me to put on my kit. And I kind of realise that a lot of that is because I just don't really want to.
Okay.
And the like desire to play feminine characters isn't really there anymore. Yeah. I kind of play them at the Forest as well, but I think that's probably. I mean, Matt thought that my female character was bloke, and I like hadn't put any effort into making it that way.
Yeah.
I just come across that way, I guess.
I mean, it's one of those things. Is like, obviously, I'm never gonna understand truly how you feel when, you know, going from a female character to a male character. I'm not going to ever truly understand that. I can only, you know, can only try, but I'll never fully get it because I'm not going to be in those type of positions.
Well, it would be like if someone was forcing you to play a female character.
Yeah.
Like, with that, it probably wouldn't make you feel that uncomfortable until you had to do it.
Yeah.
Because of whatever reason you feel that you have to do it.
I kind of, yeah, I get what you're saying there. I think it's more along those lines.
If I bought you a dress,
yeah,
and forced you to wear it, and then go and walk to the shops,
yeah,
would you feel okay?
I mean, I'm me, so I would feel fine with that. But I get where you're coming from, as in that kind of forced kind of identity.
Yeah.
You have to do this because you're X, Y, and Z. Like, I can get that, you know, not feeling comfortable in doing that.
But like, the worst thing is, I know that nobody has forced me to do it. Like, it is literally all in here.
Yeah. That
people are like I feel like there's a responsibility to keep playing the character.
Yeah.
Like, for all the stuff that I've been involved in and all the things that I've been doing over the past, like, few years.
Yeah.
Like, who's gonna give Grant his hand back?
I mean, we can, like, mail it back to him.
Who's gonna give Rauur a hard time? Who's gonna lead the pilgrimage? You know, all that sort of stuff has been like playing on my mind as, oh, I shouldn't retire, or I shouldn't go and play a different character.
I know the pilgrimage. The pilgrimage was always something that played on your mind because we had spoke quite heavily about that, and
I want to say right now, I am so glad that I got to do it. Like, I loved doing it.
It was amazing. Well, both the ones that I've been on with you were awesome.
I get quite bad stage fright. Like, I really fucked up my first ever conclave address, and like to the point where I was like, I'll never fucking go back to conclave ever again. And they weren't even horrible to me.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand how bitter and savage they are in conclave. And they were nice to me, and I was still like, nah, mate, never going back. And so, like, it would, because it's one event, like, right, it's quite late usually.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got all that time to, like, overthink about all the ways that could go wrong, and, like, the anxiety just
builds up.
But the last one, I was so, like, I felt so cool. Oh.
It was a cool experience, and everyone being there. And I think there's a few pictures out there with everyone holding the candles, and it's a really good thing. So, kind of bring it back round. So you've kind of gone from there being stuff that you need to do that stops you retiring, then to responsibility, to people of why you didn't retire, then personal things was the kind of catalyst that had brought on that mindset of, I don't feel comfortable anymore, it's time. But what was that thing that was like, no, now is that moment? Because even, you know, on a level where me and Andy have spoken, it was always kind of like, oh, I'm thinking about it, and then you came back to me and you were like, it's done. And I like everyone else who has Andy on Facebook, I read the message and I was like, oh, Lord's gone. And it, you know, it was that thing of like, I found out at the same time as a lot of other people, but what was that thing of going, no more now, I'm okay with this.
So I've been, right, it was a dark and stormy night.
Dark and stormy night, right, okay.
And
do you want to move closer to the camera to kind of get better?
It was a dark and stormy night, and I was approached by two people to make some kit. And they sort of explained their concept to me.
That way.
They sort of explained their concept to me, and I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. It kind of harkens back to when I was at GC. They're kind of doing the sort of stuff that I wanted to do with Spoon, but I couldn't because...
You wanted Spoon to look like that?
No, I wanted Spoon to be a bit
I mean, I've seen Spoon, and I've seen what's coming.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's, you know, a rock and a hard place.
No, but like Spoon was always meant to be like a cheeky, oh, what can I get away with sort of thing.
Spoon was a pain in the arse.
Yeah, but like that was me limiting it. Like, I wanted to turn it up to 11.
Wow.
And I remember I did a couple of things that seemed to really upset people, and I thought, I probably should rein it the fuck back. Oh. And like, now that like I've kind of got other people, and Empire's kind of a bit more of a mature game anyway, I feel like, I can...
You can get away with
I can get away with doing some more nonsense. So, like, James and Dennis approached me about making kit, and they told me about their concept, and I was like, holy shit. I fucking want to do this so badly. And then in the next breath, they were like, do you want to join us? And I was like, yes! Yes, I do. But, like, I hadn't decided to retire Rauur. I was like, oh, I'll finish up the stuff that I was doing. And then I kind of realised that might actually take, like, another year to do the stuff that I wanted to do.
I mean, we've even missed out, because we've missed out this year. It's going to be not even next longer. Year, it'll be the year after before anything can kind of start to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, that's a long time. That's a really long time of playing Rauur that I'm not super enjoying anymore. And I just kind of, I wanted to push myself and be like, okay, well, I'll go to Skymoot.
Yeah.
And if I can, like, sort of, deal with it there, then maybe I'll continue playing Rauur. Because we did that video with the brushes. And I had, like, I had a really bad moment before then, and I was just like, I just don't want to fucking do any of this.
Yeah, I could see it on your face.
And, like, you and Matt have been sitting here for, like, 2 hours waiting for me, and I was just like,
being like kitted up and sitting in this room with hot lights on is
no one told you to switch the lights on, I'm just saying.
I'd sat down and I'm lazy.
So I kind of knew then that I was kind of like, I don't really want to do this, and I pushed myself to have one last event. And
so Skymoot, your one last hurrah in a way as the character. Was it, satisfying that kind of last time you took the mask off and was just like, because I think a lot of the time where I've seen people, because I've obviously as I've said before, I've done this for a very long time, but I've only ever played one character. I've never really kind of got whole player death or retirement. Like, my mindset is very much just like, you die on a battlefield, that's the only way, come on now. Although we know that's not necessarily the right way, that's just my opinion. But it must, in my mind, it must be, I want to put it in the right way, it could be either very hit or miss the last time you do it.
Yeah.
And I guess that would always terrify me, because I would hate to play my character for the last time and it'd be crap.
Well, I didn't want to like tell everyone, oh, I'm going to retire my character now, and then go and play Rauur, really enjoy myself, and then be like, oh, I want to play Rauur again next year.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, I won't.
Okay.
I'll tell everyone that I'm planning to do it in person, and then we'll see where we go. And it was just it was like a nice social event.
Yeah.
And it was just nice, chill, like, okay. I got to see all my friends. I got to have a cry. It was kind of nice.
Yeah.
It was good.
I think it is that way of
felt right.
A nice way to kind of walk off to the sunset. Obviously, your character isn't dying. When you're retiring, they're not necessarily dying. They're kind of just going off to be in the woods or whatever. But I guess that's most probably the best thing you can imagine, is them just walking off into the sunset and going, it was good. I enjoyed it. It's a nice end to a story as such.
Yeah, I feel really bad because I was talking to Reich. Like Reich's the guy that Rauur always goes to, like, for advice, because they're both warlords, so they both like are kind of other from their banner.
Yeah.
And like we can.
The warlords have their own banner, and it's it's like the 1%ers, but it's like the 1.5%ers.
More like the 2%ers. And like we had this big chat about like all the things that Raur's been thinking about doing, and all the things I've been playing on in mine, and Alex basically told me all the things I'd been thinking about as a reason not to go.
Yeah.
And basically like laid them all out for me. I was just like, you're a dick. But it works.
Yeah.
And like all of these things, and like, yeah, it was just really good.
Okay.
It was a nice event for it to be the last one, I think.
Yeah. So you've now told your story to everyone, and now everyone can get a little bit more of an understanding of why you took the road you did. Is there anything that you would say to someone who is possibly not necessarily in the same shoes as you, but someone who's struggling with the possibility of retiring a character, whether it be down to obligation, help, having responsibility for other people or other influences put in there? Is there anything you would give to those people as like advice?
So it's really easy to just turn around to someone and be like, they're like, oh, I'm thinking about retiring, but I'm not sure. All these reasons why not. And it's really easy as like an outside person to just go, well, just do it. It's your money, it's your fun. At the end of the day, go and have fun.
Yeah.
But like for someone in that position, it's really like quite hard to like shake off your bonds to your character.
Yeah.
And like even if you've been playing a character for like a long time, like there are people who are at Empire who are still playing their first character, and they went to E1
of year one,
the very first event.
Yeah.
And like I can imagine like that alone is like a really big pressure as to why you shouldn't.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew when I got super excited for playing my new character.
Yeah.
And Matt turned around and said to me, I can tell that moving to the League is going to be a good thing for you because this is the first time you've been excited about Empire.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. And that was kind of how I knew.
So would you say to like other people then who are watching this, possibly thinking the same way, that when you start getting excited about something else is most probably the time where you should start maybe thinking about hanging up boots of the other person?
No, I think if you're thinking about retiring your character and you've got all these reasons why you shouldn't do it, then you're the only person who's going to know that it's time to end that character.
Yeah.
You should. It is easy to say it's your money because Empire is quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
£70 a ticket is quite a lot. It's your choice. You got to do what you want to do. If that's go and play a new character, then you should go and play a new character. But if you want to go and stay and you think about it in the background, that's also okay. You should do you.
Okay. So your advice is you do you.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Alright, well, is there anything else you want to say before we go?
I'm really tired.
You're really tired?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I have a drink?
You can do what you want, I don't care.
Can I have some more wine?
No, it's behind the lights board. Anyway, we're going to end it there. Say goodbye to everyone.
Bye. Oh, and you can probably also blame Holly a little bit.
Wait, what?
Because when Holly came over and introduced me to Drag Race, a lot of the inspiration for my next character has come from there. So, I guess you've got that to look forward to. Thanks, Holly.
Well, wasn't that an interesting interview with Andy? Now, I want to thank Andy very, very much. Being open and candid sometimes about the reasons, why you made a decision like the one he did can be hard. So I just want to say a massive thank you to Andy. He'll most probably watch this and be like, why'd you do that? Like, just come say something. But I just want to say a massive thank you. And with that said, and with that done, goodbye and good night. Bye!